A very warm welcome to the eighth recitation, which is about JavaScript functions. Before we start, this is a gentle reminder to fill the quiz form links that is given in the PowerPoint presentation in order to be marked for attendance. Moreover, while submitting the assignment, be sure to mention the honor code. So the purpose of this recitation is to practice the creation and modification of JavaScript functions. And this recitation is related to the content on chapter 19 of the Fluency textbook. Now, we will start by creating a function for the cube power. And so basically you need a program to calculate the cube of a number. The function will be created to do the calculation. So first we need to use a text editor to create a basic HTML file where the function will be included. The template of the file can be downloaded from Canvas under Files, Recitation Info. Under my name, Jashri Damala, you can get the file from the Recitation 8 folder. So now we need to create a cube power function. For that, we need to use the formula that is y is equal to x cube. But in JavaScript, we will write it as y equal to x into x into x. The reason being that JavaScript does not have a mathematical symbol for exponential numbers. So now we will place this formula in a JavaScript function and using a function declaration and definition. So in JavaScript, the function declaration follows the format as shown on the left hand side, which is function, then name, and then you have to pass the parameters. Inside that, you have to write all the statements that are included in the function. That is what the function does, and then you return the result. So now since we're doing a cube function, we will write the function name as cube, and we are going to send the parameter num, and the statements that we'll write inside that function would be we will be returning num into num into num. So that will give us the cube of the number. So let's go to the editor and try to do that. Be sure to download the shell.html file. So the shell.html file looks something like this. And when you open it in the browser, currently it's blank. And here we can add our code. So let's first change the title. Let's write the title as cube power function. And then we can go to the body tag. So as we know that JavaScript is written inside the script tag, and the script tag can be added in the body tag. So I'm just gonna write script and then close the script tag. Now inside the script tag, we can write our function. So we can write function cuber, and we will pass the parameter num. Open the brackets and be sure to close the brackets. Inside the function, we are going to return num into num into num, and be sure to put the semicolon over there. Okay, so now this is how we have defined our function. Oops, the spelling for script is wrong, so just correct that. So now we have defined the function. Once let's try to run this. So we'll save the HTML file and run it using a browser. So we have saved the HTML file, and now let me run it. So when I run it, I can see that the title over here is changed to cube power function, but I cannot see anything displayed on the screen. So it did not produce anything because there were a few errors in the code. So the first is that the function was never called. We declared the function, but we never called the function. And the second mistake was a number is needed to perform a calculation. So like if you have a function for cube, you need a number for which the cube has to be found out. So we haven't mentioned that number in the code. And the next thing is that no message was entered to relay the result to the user. So like we need to write some statement so that the result which is returned from the function, it can be shown to the user. So the fixes for these are as follows. First is you have to declare a number which will be done by writing. So first you have to declare a number. So you will write variable and you will declare a number. You can declare it by writing variable my number is equal to, we can write it as 7. So first we declare a number. So with this, we know that this number, we will call the function on this number. So that's how we can get a result. And the next thing is we have to write a statement, which is document.write statement, where we can display the result to the user and call the function also. So let's just write that. We can write document dot write, and then we can write the cube of, we can, and then we have to use the plus sign. The cube of my number is, and you can call the function cube of my number. Okay, and then close the bracket and be sure to put the semicolon. So over here, the first statement that we have written, that is variable my number is equal to 7, it takes care of the data missing, that is the missing number. And the second line that we have written, which is document.write, it takes care of the other two issues, which was firstly that the message was not being seen, and the second that the function was not called. Okay, so once we enter these two pieces of code properly inside the script tag, we can see that now if I refresh the page, we can see the answer is the cube of 7 is 343. So now we can get, so now our cube.html program is complete, and we can see that the parameter num of a function and the data argument given to the function do not have to match in name, but they have to be of the same type. That is, if it is numeric, then the other one also has to be numeric, a string with a string. So this is how you can write a basic function in JavaScript, that is declare a function and then call the function. Now let's create a function to calculate the amount of money accumulated based on a deposit, interest rate, number of periods per year the interest was being paid, and the number of years the money was in the bank. So the formula for compound interest is that money is equal to C into 1 plus R by N, the whole raised to N into T. So basically this will give the amount the principal grows to after T years. So over here, the abbreviations for each of these symbols are as follows. C is for the amount deposited, T is number of years deposited, R is the annual rate interest, and N is the number of interest payments per year. So note, there's one thing to understand, that we'll have to use a built-in function, that is mat.power, because it is needed for the exponentiation. So mat.power is, so it takes two arguments, x and y. So it takes x and y and it gives the result as x raised to y. And let's try to code this one out. We will go back to our code. We will create a new file and then just save it. Save as. We could just save it as interest.html, and we can start typing now. We can start coding it out. So we can write our basic HTML template, which is doc type HTML. Then we have the HTML tag. We close the HTML tag. Then we have the head tag. Close the head tag. Inside the head tag, we can write our meta at set as UTF-8. UTF-8, and we can have a title also. It's compound interest rate. Then we can have our body tag and close the body tag. Now inside the body tag, we'll write our script tag where the JavaScript function will go. So we can declare the function, which is function int rate. We have given the name of the function as int rate. And now we are going to pass the arguments, which is going to be C, T, R, and N. And then inside of this function, we will write our statement, that is total deposited amount is going to be math dot round C into math dot power. So here we'll use the power function 1 plus R by N. This has to be raised to N into T. And we have to remember to put the semicolon, and we return this value, that is return total deposited amount. Okay, so with this we have created our function. Now we need to create the variables which we are going to pass to the function. So first is the original amount, and we are going to prompt the user to give the values under the initial deposit. Then we have the next, which is the number of years. So we are going to prompt the user enter the number of years deposited. Then we have another variable, which is the interest rate. This also we want to prompt the user to give us, that is enter the annual interest rate. And then next is num pay year, which is the interest payment per year. So this is, we want to say enter the number of interest payments per year. So with this, we have taken all our variables also, and now we are going to call the function and also relay the result to the user. So we write document.write the total amount accumulated, close the, put a addition sign, and then we call the function int rate, and then we pass all the arguments, which is original amount, num years, then we have annual interest rate, and we have the num pay year. So we have passed all the functions, and with this our script tag is also complete. So now we can save it. Now like the function is going to be written, but now let's use event driven programming to make the web page more appealing. So I have a file which already has the event driven programming implemented, so we can input the values and run it. So I can write the initial deposit as 1000, number of years the money will be 12, and the annual rate is 4, and the number of interest payments per year will be 1. Once you calculate the total amount, it says the total amount of the money deposited after the deposit period. So this is how with the event programming it can be more appealing and attractive. So we can look into the code for that. Like we can go through the style section, the script section, and like see what all the how the format is. If you go to the code, you can see that we have the doc type HTML, the head tag as usual, we've written the title, If we go to the script tag, which is the main tag, over here we can see that the variables are already declared and the function is there. So here you can put the code. You can find this file inside the recitation files. So you can download the file and then put the JavaScript code to calculate the interest. And then after that, if you see, we have created the text boxes like the form using the input text boxes. So the first text box takes the value of the original amount, then it takes the number of years the money will be deposited, the annual rate interest, and the number of interest payments. So if you can see over here on change as in once the value is inputted, the whatever value is inputted, that it is the value is extracted. So if it's the so the ID is DEP. So DEP dot value is done to extract the value, and then it is converted into number type. The same is done for all the inputs that are taken. And then finally, the button is there. That is, after clicking the button, the function has to be called. So this if you can see, you have to put a code over here where the function is called, and then you have to round it to 2 decimal places. So for this, you have to use the mat.round option and total it to 2 decimal places. Also, after that, the total money, which whatever result is there, it is calculated and it is given to a text box. If you can see the value over here, it says read only. So read only, what it does is the use of read only is that it is a property which sets or returns whether a text field is only read only or not. So basically, a read only field cannot be modified, but like the user can tab to it, highlight it, and copy from it. But it is only read only. So basically, no modification is possible for that. And try putting the code, which is total deposited is equal to C into math.pow, and then 1 plus R by N, comma, N into T. And it is return total D. And then we can go down and write the code for our button also. So we can just say variable total is equal to total with interest original amount, comma, num years, comma, annual interest rate, comma, num per years, and total money, and get the value of the total money. That value is equal to $sign plus total dot to fix. So to fix is going to put it to 2 decimal places. So with this, that's complete. Now if we go for, if we check the code, we can see the initial deposit, the number of years, annual rate interest, payments, and we can calculate the total and we can get the answer. So that's how you can write the functions. Now, moving on, we can create another function which can calculate the volume of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And here you can try doing this on your own. So the formula is already given. You can use the cube program as a template, and you need to use prompts to like get the arguments, like the inputs from the user. Also, you can after you code it out, use the formula over here, which is volume is equal to area of the base into height divided by 3. So create a function for this, and then come back, and over here on the left bottom the arguments are given for the area and the height, for which the result is also given. So try to pause the video over here, code it out, see if for the inputs given you get the output as shown, and then move on to check the code for the solution. So you can create another file and save it as pyramid.html. And we can start writing the code. HTML, and we have the HTML tag. Close the HTML tag. Inside that we can write the head tag. Close the head tag. Inside the head tag we can write the meta cassette, which is UTF-8, and then we can have our title, which is volume of a pyramid function. Then we can have our body tag and close the body tag. Inside the body tag we can write our script tag, close the script tag. So we can create a function, and we can call the function volume, which takes the area and the height, and it returns area into height divided by 3. Once we have this, once you have declared the function, we need to declare our variable. So variable base, and we will take the inputs from the user, enter the area of the pyramid base, and we can take another, we have to take another input, which is the height. Just prompt enter the height of the pyramid. Once we have declared our function and taken the declared the variables, we have to relay the results and call the functions. We write document.write the volume of the pyramid is, and then we can call the function, which is volume, and pass the arguments based on the height. This our JavaScript function is created for the height as well. If we do 900 and 146.5, we get the result as 258. And if we can check, we got the results, the same results as movie. So with this, we come to an end to our recitation. Be sure to fill this form to be marked for attendance. It has like 3-4 easy questions. And thank you, and have a good day. Meet you at the next recitation.